How are you getting on, folks? Look at another, I suppose, miserable enough day. Um, Look at as I predicted. Patrick Mullins ends up riding a double the day I'm not on him. But I think basically the way I'm looking at it is I'm just sort of cursing myself with the horses that I'm picking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover Listowel tomorrow, but I will hold my hands up and say that I'm not going to be backing these horses tomorrow. Um, it's just more so, I suppose, going to be a day for me just to sit back and enjoy good racing without, I suppose, worrying about getting my money back or making money or anything like that, because um, you can only go so far until that, I suppose, interacts with the enjoyment of the game and the enjoyment of the sport, and I don't want that. But look, I said I'd cover this all at the end of the week, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Some good each way value here, in my personal opinion. I think there is some big price horses that are going to run a very credible race tomorrow, and hopefully they'll be able to, I suppose, get us back in the road to, I suppose, being successful and being, I suppose, the top of the tree. Basically, I can't really say any more. But 140 anyway. We're going to kick things off. We're going to take a chance against the very short price favourite here. We're going to go with Miss Oriental at 12-1. This is going to be an each way bet here. Personally, I think it's very much well worth the time taking on this favourite here, although it does set the standard. It's not a very high standard, in my personal opinion. It just hasn't clicked yet, and for me it doesn't deserve the price tag of 5-4 or even anywhere close to it. So Miss Oriental, it's lacking a bit of a recent run, but if it's fit, it should run a very good race. It's placed a couple of times in his career. It's run some very good races. I'm just looking up to see what I've written about it. I wouldn't, like I said, the favourite, although it is setting the standard, is not a real decent one, but at the same time, it does look the most obvious winner. I wouldn't be expecting Miss Oriental to win the race as per se, but for her to come in at an each way price, she's definitely more value and more, I suppose, a safe bet more so than anything else, than backing the favourite here, who could possibly do anything to see it being bet. But look, at 12-1, it's definitely well worth in each way. If you get quality odds, it's as good as a 3-1 winner, and if it's a fifth of the odds, I'm trying to make up quick maths, it's about 2.5, 2.25 to 1. So when you're looking at it that way, when there's a 5-4 favourite that doesn't really deserve it, in my personal opinion, I definitely think it's well worth taking it on with a bigger price each way. And Miss Oriental definitely looks to be the most dangerous of the field to do so. Now the 215, we're going to go with Finest Evermore, the nap of the day. It is a sharp price. It's 6-5. Really and truly, it looks to be a class above here. It looks to, I suppose, set a very high standard in terms of potential. It looks miles before anything else in the race here today. And 6-5, I think it's a little bit big, in my personal opinion. I think it should be odds on, because at the end of the day, this could be a superstar. Really and truly, it is a good race. There's a couple of, well, there's one looks to be fairly decent, Gigastown horse. There's another one. I don't know the ownership. Robcore. There's a Robcore horse in here as well that's looks fairly exciting as well, but nothing really has taken the eye much more so than Finest Evermore, and for that, I definitely think it's well worth napping up at 6 to 5. It could be an easy double your money, but that saying that, I things like that have come back to haunt me in the past. Now 250 again. We're going to go with an each way shout here. We're going to go with Born by the Sea at 6 to 1. No matter what way you look at it, it's an each way. It's an each way value. There's no market in the world trading around 1 to 6 for places, and if there is, stay clear of them. But Born by the Sea, it's definitely looking like a win is in the bag sooner rather than later. It's been a fairly popular horse for I suppose the Peaky blogger and the people that have been following me since the start. We've always had a few quid each way on, and yeah, it's been, I suppose, successful for us. You can't really say anymore. It's been very unlucky one time around Galway, or maybe two times around Galway. I can't quite remember now, but I know it was very unlucky one day in Galway, just getting nabbed on the line, and the win definitely looks to be, I suppose, coming sooner rather than later. It's up another £3, but standard enough improvement. It definitely looks like it can improve those £3, and if it does, it is well worth taking on, as well worth getting behind. And 6 to 1, it is a very nice price each way. Worst case scenario, you'll get your money back. The 325, another each way shout here. Now we're going to go with My Friend the Wind at 10 to 1. This one here is very interesting, folks. The trainer is very local, literally only up the road from Listowel races. Loves to get his winners around here, around the festival. If I'm not mistaken, he hasn't had a winner yet so far, so this could be the one. It's looking up why I was writing about it there. There's a top amateur on board. It's well weighted by the looks of things. It looks like this has been the target for quite some time. It could be well handicapped, and if it is, there's a top amateur on board with Conor McNamara. I'm predicting that this lad is going to ride out his claim by the end of the year, or at least by this time next year. He is just absolutely firing them in all cylinders. He's had a fairly decent Listowel festival. He's had a couple of winners, and he's had a couple of losers like us all, but yeah, I definitely think 10 to 1 is definitely well worth in each way, especially for a yard that's so local and has proven before that they love to have their winners around here. Now the 4 o'clock, we're going to go at Cadawill, another each way shout here, but at a much bigger price at 20 to 1. Roger Sweeney trains this one here. As you all know, Roger had another big price winner earlier on in the week for the same connections. It looks to be well weighted. I'm trying to think who's on board. I think it's Sean O'Keefe, possibly. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly positive it is Sean O'Keefe on board. Takes £5 off. Yeah, look at the fact that the trainer's in form. We don't really know what way this horse is going to be like. He's been mediocre over hurdles in the past, but he's, I suppose, improved on a chasing mark of in around 98. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the figures in my head anyway. That's coming up 98 for Cadawill, and if I'm not mistaken, he's running off a mark of 80 over hurdles. So when you look at it that way, he's well weighted. It's an £18 allowance. I know he's probably not the best going over hurdles, but you always have to consider those things and put these things into perspective. I know it's easier said than done saying that a horse is well weighted and they're sure to go well. Like I said with Smith's Corner, who was getting something like, I think, a £29, I suppose, turn of foot, really, more so than anything else, going from chasing to hurdles. But as you can all see, like that, not always, I suppose, plays the part and plays to what people expect it to be. But the fact that Roger Sweeney hasn't had many runners in the past 2 weeks, but still manages to pick out a winner here and there, it could be interesting. 20 to 1 is definitely well worth an each way shout. Quarter the odds, it's as good as a 5 to 1 winner, and a fifth of the odds is as good as a 4 to 1 winner just for a horse placing. So it's definitely well worth looking into. I definitely think it's got a fairly decent chance. And yeah, it should be well able to run fairly well, especially the fact that the trainer already has a win in Listowel on the boards. 4:30, we're going to go with Allardyce. This is going to be the next best of the day. It's currently trading around 7 to 1. Like I said, anything above 4 or 5 to 1, depending on where you are, it's well worth an each way. But Allardyce is definitely going to be the next best of the day. I seen it in Naas the last time I ran in Naas, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was around the 5th of January. It was very impressive that day. I was very much, I suppose, taken back and all, more so than anything else. It finished like an absolute train. Really and truly, it's a tough race to call. There's a reason why he's 7 to 1. He hasn't had a run since, or at least he hasn't had a run since the season resumed again. So that's obviously a worry, but the horse handles the ground fairly well. It should be well suited to a track like Listowel. 7 to 1 is massive in my opinion. I can't understand why it's such a big price. Obviously, when you take fitness and everything into it, but if he is fit, he is well worth, I suppose, getting behind. 7 to 1 is a brilliant price for an each way shout. Worst case scenario, you'll obviously the worst case scenario is you lose the money you put on, but if it comes into places, like you're gonna get your money back plus a little bit more. So if you're looking to turn a small bit of profit tomorrow, it's definitely well worth taking on. Now the 5 o'clock, second last race of the day, something sweet, 9 to 2. It was, I suppose, it wasn't disappointing for us last time it ran 5 days ago, but I was expecting a little bit more from it. The fact of the matter is, I was there the day it was just beaten ahead in Thurles last year. It was thrown out fairly quickly after that again. I think it might have been a week. And it absolutely hosed up. Now that was over hurdles. Chasing it doesn't look to be the same, I suppose, firepower that it was over hurdles, but the fact that it's improving and it's improving every time it runs, it's clear as day that I suppose a quick turnabout or turnaround isn't going to hinder it really at the end of the day. And I definitely think something sweet could be very sweet for us tomorrow. It's 9 to 2. Maybe shop around. You might be able to get 5 to 1 if you can find a market that's a quarter the odds. Definitely take it on each way. I wouldn't, I suppose, advise any big bets or anything like that, because obviously with the form that we're in, but I definitely think something sweet could be just that. Come, what time is it? 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. Now 5:30, last race of the day. We're going to go. We seek him here at 11 to 10. Really and truly, I know I say Allardyce is my next best, but if I had to pick a next best, I'd definitely pick We Seek Him Here. I was gobsmacked the way it ran in Galway over the festival on the Wednesday. It absolutely hosed up, made absolute smithereens of the opposition. I think it won by something like 20 lengths or in or around that distance anyway. It definitely looked to win by a considerable distance anyway, and it was very impressive. It should come on for that run. It looks to be the stable's choice horse here with Jamie Codd on board, and it should take a very special horse here to beat him. But look, I'm going to leave it there. Make sure to keep liking, sharing, subscribing. I hope that anyone that has followed me over the week isn't down too much in profit or down too much in, I suppose, money. Hopefully, if you're going to be following me tomorrow, we'll be able to turn that form around and I suppose hopefully carry in and hopefully I suppose maybe come out with small profit at the end of the day. But yeah, keep liking, sharing, subscribing. If you want to see some of my articles that I write, I'll be writing a couple now next week for the World of Sport again. I leave a link in the description below, and I think that's all about it. But best of luck tomorrow if you're going to be having a bet, and I'll be back tomorrow to cover Roscommon if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, best of luck and make sure to keep liking, sharing, subscribing.